Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Today is a special episode because we're joining our new member, Guvo Strongfoot. Guvo, can you tell our listeners a bit what you look like?
Okay. Oh, this is the question. Do I do this in character or do I do this in my normal voice?
Both are good. I just let people go with whatever they're feeling. You know, whatever you're like, I want this, do it. Okay,
cool. Guvo is a very, very obese frog person, frog folk. He has very thick, well-placed armor that is a little bit too small for him as he's grown out of it over the years. But he has quite many different chins, and yeah, he's a big guy. Kind of greenish, kind of brownish, and yeah. I kind of want to do that again. That was not great.
This is an excellent time to prepare you for the show. It's all done in one take.
Oh.
Now the listeners know the stakes.
I need to get a good, very quick written line of that then, because I did think about the thing where because I know whenever you sign the show off, or whenever that happens, everyone says a line. I think Guvo's just going to tell everybody how hungry he is at all times. Guvo's moderately hungry right now, and that's all he'd ever say. Guvo's kind of hungry. Guvo's very hungry because all he thinks about is food.
Frog brains. That's very for a humanoid-sized frog. Are you humanoid-sized?
He's 5'2".
Yeah.
And 400 pounds. So he's a big old boy. He's a big boy.
But realistically, a frog, they're only thinking about food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen those frogs that it's toads, I think, and they put like a worm or a maggot in front of like one of them, and they take like a good 10 seconds to decide whether or not that is food?
It makes sense.
Oh, they're so cute. So I was reading, we should start the interview, but I want to say this.
Yep.
So I was reading this thing about the direction of the maggot. If you put it sideways and you have movement, the toad brain can understand that that's food. But if you move it in the wrong direction, the toad's like, no, that's not food, and just like doesn't understand. It'll eat lines, but it won't eat dots. So
that makes sense. That's an evolutionary thing. You think, well, wait a minute, no. Dots mean poison, avoid, or worms don't move like that. Right. If I eat it, I could die. So yeah, they're probably it's definitely an evolutionary thing.
But it does mean that if you're a worm, if you move the right way away from a frog, it'll never attack you.
Maybe some worms do. Maybe they've learnt the skill in how to move differently.
We're not there yet, thank goodness. But all right, so this is an interview. Sorry, it was just 3 minutes of us talking about frogs. But this is an interview. We've got 15 questions for you. If you'd like to answer these in character, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But let me know if you're ready, and I'll ask the first one.
Go for it.
All right. Guvo, you're a new addition to the crayon box. What color would you be, and why?
Guvo would be green, I believe. It's his favorite color, jelly. Jelly's very nice.
You sound obese.
I practice this a lot.
Question 2. What are your strengths?
Guvo thinks that his main strength is tactical thinking, as well as defense. And probably the best thing Guvo can do is drink anybody under the table. And I do love drinking under the table.
What are your weaknesses, Guvo?
Guvo doesn't really have any weaknesses besides an insatiable appetite for food. Yes.
You're both adorable and repulsive. It's amazing. All right, question 4. Where did you grow up, Guvo?
Guvo grew up in a gladiatorial arena with my brother, Fuvo. We were there since I can remember. And we spent many, many years practicing being gladiators. Excuse me. I must have choked on something I was eating right now. So that's where Guvo grew up. In the ring, in the arena, fighting, putting on a show.
I can see why you have technical thinking as your strength. You've got a lot of experience in it.
Mm-hmm. I have fought many a beast, and many a creature, and many a person.
Well, I must ask, question 5 is, now that you're out of the gladiatorial arena, with you being free from all that combat, free to do something else, why did you want to join the Fire-Breathing Kittens Guild?
Well, Guvo found that there wasn't much competition anymore. And the food got pretty bad. I think they changed the chefs. Terrible. So Guvo decided that the best way to find true competition would be to join a guild that goes on many adventures, faces many foes, faces many appetites. Think of the food, the delicious food. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. If you excuse me, I'm just going to crack open this little jar of pickles I've got with me.
That's very prescient of you. You're going to enjoy question 12. But
is it about food?
It is about... You'll see. Keep listening, listeners. But first, question 6. If you were given a 1-minute advertisement time spot during the annual Nikomoi fighting tournament, sort of a Super Bowl, if you will, that everyone in the whole city watches, what would you fill it with?
Is it an advertisement for myself or for something I want to advertise?
It's your money. It's your commercial. You can put what you want in it.
I would sell the good advertising for the best brisket I've ever tasted. It was a small cafe in a little small town. They deserve all the advertising they could get. Just thinking about it making my mouth water. Oh, delicious. The fat. 30% fat, they said. It's got to be about 45. Oh, delicious. And the vegetables they did with it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get carried away. I'll continue on and on.
Oh, no. I'm in now. How do you raise the fat content of meat? Do you, put butter in? Is that what the injected butter does? It raises
I would hope so, but I think it's just more animal fat. They get the fattest boar they can find, plump it up, and yes, that's what I imagine.
Oh, it's like a foie gras situation. That boar has a lot of food. Okay.
Perhaps, yes. More foie gras. Delicious. I hope this interview can end soon so I can get some dinner. These pickles aren't satisfying me enough right now.
Well, let's get you through it. Question 7. Guvo, what do you like doing in your spare time?
Eating. Eating. Eating and eating. Or practicing. Depends, really. But we're normally practicing eating. Sometimes I do like to go to a buffet now and again. Most days. Or go and practice my shield work. You see that I am well versed in the defensive gladiatorial art style, and it takes a lot of practice to make sure I am strong enough to hold down a barreling elephant.
Wow.
But definitely eating.
Okay. Question 8. Guvo, what things in life are still a mystery to you?
Oh. Guvo seeks the one creature or person that can finally give me the glory that I seek. The mystery would be who they are and where I would find them. Oh, I do think about it much. What is that creature that could finally give me rest? Give me that last meal, I could savor it. Oh, yes. It definitely gives me the mystery level that I am seeking.
Your interviewer out of character is grateful for the modern sushi conveyor belt and pities the poor medieval fools. It's like, that's right. They had buffets, they had feasts, but it wasn't on a train.
Yep.
Yes, you will find something magical, I'm sure, one day.
I hope so.
Question 9 out of 15. Everybody's got one. Guvo, what's your annoying habit?
Breathing too loud, probably. And snoring. Oh, you would. I don't think anybody gets much sleep when they're around me.
That's kind of not your, well, I was going to say not your fault. And but the
It kind of
body
is my fault.
weight, yeah.
Some people said I should go on a diet. And I tried it, but the food wasn't very good.
I mean, you're just spitting harsh truths right now. I just feel bad. Just, yeah.
Real world and Guvo world, definitely.
I feel you, Guvo. I like pat your shoulder. Yeah. I'll distract you. Question 10. Do you speak any other languages?
I speak what I'm talking now, obviously, which is, I imagine, the common tongue. And probably. I obviously speak frog. But it's quite a slow language. Takes quite a long time to say anything, really. I would attempt to say my favorite poem in frog folk kind. Give me a minute.
And he starts to puff out his neck. And he goes on for like a good 5 minutes of just this sound, this sort of reverberating sound.
Yeah, the plates in the cabinets start to rattle with the resonant frequency.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
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 That was my favorite poem, written by a famous frog person, Xanathor Strongwill. Beautiful words. Beautiful. Yes.
Wow. What a good cultural exchange.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Question 11. Guvo, where would you like to visit?
Guvo would like to visit anywhere where there are fearsome beasts, fearsome foes, interesting cultures. Guvo likes to delve into many different cultures, especially their food, as you could imagine. Oh, imagine the stories, the fighting, the eating. Oh, anywhere Guvo can find a good meal and a good foe, he can go to sleep happy.
There's a fundamental truth to that. Like, food is the primary overcomer of basic xenophobia. Like, but are there noodles? Is there cheese? Fat of some kind? Do they have their own kind of donut, you know? Yeah. Question 12. We're there. It seems silly to ask someone who's eating pickles in this moment, but question 12 is for everyone. Same question. And that is, do you like pickles?
I hope they do. Especially the pickles that I have. These are homegrown pickles from Mrs. Margaret. I believe she pickles them herself in a type of vinegar that you can only find in frog folk swamps. I believe it's made from a type of worm, spotted worm, I believe. You can't eat them raw, but if you bathe them for many years, they eventually break down into a fine vinegar, perfect for pickles. Gives them a salty and spicy edge. Oh, they are delicious.
And he just starts eating a little bit more at this point, you know. Just like,
Oh, they are delicious. Would you like one?
Yes, please.
they're massive. They're gigantic. They're like the size of a baby's forearm. Like,
Oh my
there you
goodness.
Wonderful.
I slice it. I do.
It's like there's like a green ooze that sort of comes out of it as you slice into it.
This is when I'm wondering, like, cats can't eat, what was it, onions? Dogs can't eat chocolate. Like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
can I eat this?
I think you can. Don't worry. Best dish.
I try it.
It's
Do
very
I die?
delicious. No. It's very filling. Very
Yay.
filling. Even a few bites becomes very filling. It's as though it's expanding in your stomach.
This would be a good diet food. I see why you're eating it. Oh my gosh.
This is a good diet. This is the only diet food I've found. The problem is I eat too many of them. So it becomes not a diet anymore.
Yeah, the stomach expands.
Probably the way I look the way I am. But I can't stop eating them. They're so delicious. They're so blasted delicious. Oh dear.
And he starts offering them to people that walk past.
Would you like a pickle? Free of charge. Don't forget Mrs. Margaret.
Oh, I feel bad for Guvo. Okay. Question 13 out of 15.
Mm-hmm.
A penguin walks through that door right now wearing a sombrero. What does it say and why is it here?
In Guvo's voice? On my own? In the
Yeah,
GM's
we're still in the interview.
Still in
yeah,
Guvo.
yeah.
Still in Guvo.
Are penguins typically eaten in this region? I've never seen one in the wild before.
Gosh, that's a good question. You know, like there'd be some people who'd be like, they're too cute to eat. And then you find out they eat puffins. And then you're like, they what? And then you're like, yeah, they eat puffins. You're like,
They're
no.
Carnivores.
I think people would eat penguins, yeah.
Is it wearing a hat, did you say?
Yes, a sombrero.
Well, if it's wearing a hat, it must be quite civilized, so not for eating. That is normally Guvo's line you can't cross. If an animal wears a bit of clothing, you probably shouldn't eat it. Unless it attacks you, and then you can do what you want to it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Penguin.
I imagine it turns over. Turns to Guvo very worriedly. It's a very loud, booming voice that the penguin sort of squeaks out. Yes, sir.
Would you like a pickle?
Okay. Grabs the pickle and just sort of holds it for a minute and doesn't even know what to do with it, I imagine. And
this is not a fish.
yeah.
It wriggles like one. You leave it long enough.
Oh.
I imagine the penguin just sort of waddles off in confusion and fear of this gigantic thing that's sort of casting a gigantic shadow over the poor penguin.
Later on in the direction that it wandered, we find the intact pickle.
They didn't eat it. What a waste. Oh, look, it's coming to life. Oh, I told you, look, it starts to wiggle if you leave it too long. I think it's something to do with the juices in the vinegar. There's a chemical reaction.
He picks it up and eats it.
Don't let good food go to waste.
No, don't. Yeah. Second to last question.
Mm-hmm.
Guvo, what would you like remembered about you?
Oh, my fondness for food, my insatiable hunger, and perhaps my incredible charisma and my many chins. I believe they are my strongest suits.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good singing earlier. The chins helped.
They did. Yeah.
And very last question. Guvo, what is one message you would give to your fans?
I would like you to eat more food and enjoy it. Food is for enjoying. Even if you only eat a little, enjoy every mouthful. Because there's some creatures out there who don't get to eat a single meal. Probably because I've eaten it for them, but we should think about the creatures who don't get to eat. So enjoy it. Share the food. Share every food you have. Make a meal for your friends. learn to cook and be happy.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Thank you for joining us, Guvo.
You're welcome. I believe the buffet is calling me now.
Well, we'll see you first at the buffet and then in an upcoming adventure. Goodbye.
So goodbye. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.